Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Superintendent Hallam.
It's Sergeant Parrish, sir. Constable Shelton. Welcome to Hartley, sir.
The Inspector, Inspector Darbley.
I'm afraid we must have got our wires crossed, sir. We weren't expecting you till tomorrow. The Inspector's off today.
No wires crossed, Sergeant. I may have to spend the day at headquarters tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, what?
Nothing, sir.
Do I know you, Sergeant?
No, sir. I don't think we've met before.
Are you busy at the moment?
Nothing urgent, sir.
Well, perhaps you'd like to give me a guided tour of the station, then a guided tour of the section.
Well, there's very few in the station, sir. No one in CID.
Oh, that's fine, Sergeant. I just want to put my head round some doors. How long have you been in the force, son?
12 months, sir.
You married?
Yes, sir.
You settled in the job, enjoying it, no complaints?
None, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good lad.
We can start with the CID room, sir.
Thank you, Sergeant.
That's about the last of the old mills left standing round here, sir. Of course, it's not used now. And as you can see, it's right on the edge of the section.
I suppose it's mainly local crime, Sergeant?
Yes, sir. I'm mainly juvenile. Occasionally a bit of a mobility of crime problem off the motorway. Apart from that, most of our lads are local, know the area well, grew up with the villains.
A woman?
Yes, sir?
The Inspector?
Yes, sir.
It's a bit unusual, isn't it, sir? Having a woman in charge of a section.
We thought so, sir, when we first got the news. But she's turned out to be a very good boss.
Really?
Annie. Hello. You look terrific.
You look terrific. I look old.
Oh, get on with you. Give us one of these.
Oh, I'm parched for a cup of tea. That's one. Need to spruce up before the interview. That's two.
Then we'll go home and do all that, and I'll drive you to your interview.
Well, are you sure you got the time?
Of course, they're off for you.
Oh, thanks.
Train was back on time.
I know.
And it's made it.
Oops.
Okay.
Yes. I did swear I'd never come back. But it's great to be up north again.
We've missed you, you know.
Oh. You're not going to believe what I'm going to ask you.
Go on. It's this red one here.
I was sitting in a restaurant in Montreal when I made the decision to come back. And I promised myself the first thing I'd do when I got back is go to the old Rosario tea rooms.
Of course. It's on the way home, anyhow.
Right.
Put that one in the front.
Okay.
Obviously, I've driven through Hartley many times. About 15 years ago, a mate of mine, Dave Brewster, came here for a couple of years. Did you know Dave Brewster?
No, sir.
And then, of course, there's Joe Beck. He was in Colliston in my time, oh, about 10 years back. I was glad to see he was on the strength at Hartley. He's a good man.
Yes, sir.
I've never yet found anything perfect in the way the force organises itself. There's always room for improvements. Sometimes little ones, sometimes major ones. I think I'll have to talk today to Mrs. Darbley. Could you give her a phone?
She's off today.
Only if it's convenient, of course.
Look at them. Nothing's changed.
time and prices stand still at the Rosario tea rooms.
Oh, no, I've got to have the scones and cream and the rubbery raspberry jam.
Not for me. I've got a uniform to get into, and when I don't, it shows. Do you know my last recollection of you, the last time I came over to Hartley to see you?
No.
We had that terrible meal in that terrible Italian restaurant, the Polo Rosso, all the spaghetti stuck together. And you said, I'm getting on that train and I'm heading south and then west, and I shall never head north again for the rest of my life.
Very dramatic.
What made you come back, Annie?
Loneliness. Oh, I'd never in my life experienced real loneliness before. It was all right during the day. They work you very hard in Canada. But I sat in that apartment in Montreal more or less every night for 4 years. And I'd sit there and think to myself, I've got very few friends in this world, and I miss them desperately. And they're 4,000 miles away, and what the hell am I doing here?
What happened to that bloke? Did you not meet someone?
A guy called Bob. He was trying to get his divorce for 2 years. And then he got it. And I think if I'd given him a bit of a push, he'd have married me. But I kept thinking about my marriage, Roger, the divorce, the aftermath. But more than that, I thought to myself, this guy is a Canadian. And what's really important to him, like all the men over there, is making it. Devoting an entire life to building up a successful business. And being a wife to men like that is nothing more than a grinning public relations department they tow around to business dinners.
I can't see any bloke towing you around, love. I see the reverse.
No, I got very low, Jean. Oh, just imagine me in an American-style tinsel wonderland. I nearly married Bob. Terrifying. I remember reading somewhere once that marriage is like handing in your passport and citizenship.
And you don't think settling down up here again is like burning your passport?
You don't need a passport to identify yourself around here.
I agree. Why don't you come directly back here? Why stop off in London for 6 months?
Well, you know what the work situation's like up here. I thought it best to get some temp work in London while I lined up a job here.
Well, what is it?
PA to the managing director at Crowfield Electric.
Hartley. Why Hartley in particular?
Oh, I know what you're thinking. My time up here wasn't all that marvellous.
Well, yes.
But it's a good job, Jean. And it's the job I want. But I've got to get through the interview first.
Tea or coffee, ladies?
Tea? 1 tea, 1 coffee, and 1 order of scones, cream and raspberry jam, please.
Sorry, dear, scones is off till 3:30 this afternoon.
Yes. I'm back home. This is it. Not bad. Dump your kids here. Right. And give us your coat. There we are. So, Tom did most of it, but I did the best bit. What do you think of this? Oh, that's very nice. When am I going to see him? He's had to go up to Newcastle to try and find the father of some kids that are in trouble. But he'll be back very late tonight. If not tomorrow morning. Listen, I must just put these dishes into hot water. They've been hanging about since yesterday. Do you want to unpack? Your room's first on the left. Oh, thanks, but, before I do that, can I ask you, a favour? Of course. Well, it's a big one. Of course. About Roger.
Roger?
I want to meet him. I want to talk to him.
Why? I should have thought that's the last person you'd want to see.
Well, I did write to him, but writing's no good. No, I want to see him. And I want to see him before the interview. Well, sooner or later, he'd find out I was back. I want to have it out with him face to face. I can't have a repeat of those months before the divorce. What's the favour? Well, I'd like to phone him and, if possible, see him here before 2 o'clock. And if I could be in one room and if you could be in here, if necessary, to lend a little moral support.
Of course. Excuse me. I'll take my case upstairs. Yes. Yes, George.
I've been trying to get hold of you. Superintendent Hallam's called in. He'd like to see you.
He's not due till tomorrow. Well, an old friend of mine, oldest and best friend, has just come to town. All right. Tell Superintendent Hallam I'll be in after dinner.
Well, he's in your office now, Mum. I gather he wants to be off by then.
Tell him I'll be half an hour. Well, I'm sorry about this. I have to pop out for an hour and a half. Unexpected guest at the works.
Oh, don't worry about that. It'll take me that long to get myself together.
Okay. Oh, before I forget. Door keys.
Oh, thanks, love.
Got your insurance?
George,
Mom, Mr. Hallam's still in your office.
can you organise some teas?
Yes, Mom.
Good morning, sir. Inspector Jean Darbley. Welcome to Hartley.
Thank you, Mrs. Darbley. Yes. Oh, please. All the appearances of a nice little town you've got here, Mrs. Darbley.
Yes, sir.
You took a Monday off.
Yes, it was something special. I arranged it 2 weeks ago.
Yes, I checked that. Mondays, of course, are not the best of times to take off. Mondays are for sorting out the problems and reports of our busiest nights, Fridays and Saturdays, right?
I was on duty both Saturday and Sunday, sir.
I've been taking a little glance through Section CID reports. And I'm afraid, Mrs. Darbley, I have to raise a criticism. A number of significant inquiries seem to have been hanging fire for rather a long time.
That's possible, sir.
Obvious, Mrs. Darbley. I've had a lot of experience of areas like this, and I can tell you a thing or two about them. Because they don't need the intensity of policing that a heavy metropolitan area needs, there's a tendency for the men to sit back and admire the scenery. And sometimes fall asleep on the job.
I don't think that applies to this section, sir.
Then that begs the question, doesn't it? Why are your CID not getting results? Why are your men not on their toes?
Mr. Logan, the DCI and me work closely together, sir. He's not found cause for complaint.
You see, I believe that the main task of an inspector in charge of a section comes down in the end to man management. I'm going to be absolutely blunt with you and tell you I find it extraordinary that a woman should have been appointed to do this job. In letters of one syllable, I don't think a woman should be here, running Hartley section.
It was the Chief Constable's decision, sir. I don't think I wish to comment on that.
Oh, there's no need to. I think there are a lot of good jobs in the force for a woman. I think they should be in headquarters building or somewhere, employed in one of them.
I don't agree, sir.
Well, of course you don't. You've been in this job, what, 9 months? I'm sure if you put in a request that you wanted to move on, it would be sympathetically considered.
I don't wish to move, sir. And I'm surprised to hear you suggest it at our first meeting.
Well, as you know, I'm now in charge of the subdivision and I want the best policing for it. And that requires leadership. Strong leadership. I'm not going to disappear, Mrs. Darbley. I think you should start to give some thought to your future in the force. Meanwhile, of course, you'll have my entire cooperation.
I don't believe it.
Morning, sir.
I remember you, Joe. And I've heard about you over the years.
I hope it was good, sir.
All good, Joe. Hey, do you still have that old, what was it, Velocette motorbike you used to drive?
No, sir. It's now down to rheumatism and a rally upright.
Hey, look, before you go in there, I want to ask your advice on an urgent matter. What's the best pub in Hartley?
Crown and Sceptre, Bridge Street, down the hill first on the left, sir.
We'll have a long talk soon, Joey.
Yes, Mom. Right. Boss wants to see us.
I thought we were having a rest from her today. And I thought Alan was coming tomorrow.
Well, he's an early bird. And he's been looking for worms.
Come in. Sit down. You both met the new subdivisional superintendent?
Yes, Mum.
I served under him in Colliston near on 10 years back.
What's that like?
He's a good man. Bit of a plodder, but fair. Bit religious, Methodist. Professional bachelor. Sort of bloke who's always got his nose to the grindstone whether there's any work to do or not.
I walked in here and he informed me in no uncertain manner that he decided, on somewhat dubious grounds, there's evidence of slackness in the policing of this section. And more to the point, he said he didn't want a woman in my job and I should start to think about my future in the force.
It's out of order saying that to your Mum.
He said it.
He may be the new boss, but you were appointed here. I don't think he's any right to question your appointment. If you take my advice, Mum, if that's what he said, I think you should speak to someone at headquarters about it. What do you say, Joe?
Seems a bit soon to start whining to headquarters. He's hardly got here.
You're right, Joseph.
I'm sorry to hear this, Mum. It's not been my experience that Mr. Allen was like this in the past.
We'll support you, Mum, to the best of our endeavours.
Thank you, George. Joseph. I just thought I'd warn you that we've not got off to a good start.
Looks like we've got a problem.
With a capital P.
10 to 1. Am I late?
No, he's due now. I'm just getting tea.
I think I need a brandy, actually.
What's the matter?
I'm not serious. Something come up at work.
Do you need to be there?
No.
Well, here we go. If I could take him in the living room after he's, well, you know, after he said hello.
Yeah, I'll wait in here.
Right. Hello, Roger.
Hello.
Come and meet Jean.
All right. Hello, Jean.
Hello, Roger.
We'll go in the living room then, Jean.
Okay, I'll bring some tea in.
Thanks.
Well, how are you?
I'm just fine. Why don't you sit down? All right, Roger. I'll tell you why I wanted to meet.
You look terrific, Annie.
Look, Roger, I'm back. At least I think I'm back to settle down.
What do you mean you think you're back?
That's up to you.
I don't understand.
All right, Roger. From the moment our marriage broke down, for the year it took to get the divorce. Well, you remember what happened.
What in particular?
Mary's flat. You were getting drunk all hours of the day and night, phoning me up, crying down the phone, saying you were sorry.
Don't go into that.
Turning up at my work drunk, writing to me, phoning my friends, crying.
It's all over.
Well, that's just it. It has to be over.
It is.
I'm coming back to Hartley. We're divorced. I have to know that that behaviour will never happen again. I mean, if you think there's even an outside chance of it happening again, I'll stay well away from here and from you for the rest of my life.
That was 4 years ago, Annie. I'll not bother you.
You absolutely promise?
Yes, I'm over it, and you.
Thanks.
He's gone.
Yes, I think it's going to be all right. Yeah.
It's me again, Mom. The superintendent's back, and he'd like to see you, he says, on an urgent matter.
Hell's teeth. All right, tell him I'll be in. I have to go in again. I'm sorry, I shan't be able to take you to your interview.
Don't worry, I'll phone up for a cab.
Right. Well, good luck with it anyway. So long.
Thanks.
Listen, George, do yourself a favour. Have a little think before you go over the top with the thin red line. Our boss is a lady who's destined to go on up the ladder. We're likely stuck with Alan for years.
And let me tell you that I'm in the force, Joe, to deal with external aggravation, not internal.
If Alan makes the job that bloody impossible, she'll be rushing to leave here in 2 months. I'll give you the same advice as I'm following myself. Get out the boxing ring. Because there's a heavyweight contest starting and it's going to go the full 15 rounds.
Afternoon, Sergeant.
Good afternoon.
Constable Gallagher reporting for duty.
Oh, my God, another new arrival. I don't think I can take the pace.
We were expecting you, Gallagher. Transferred, aren't you?
Yes, sir, from Strathclyde. I've left my motorcycle at the car on the side. Is that okay?
Good. He's a motorcyclist. He won't be with us long.
This is Sergeant Beck, and I'm Sergeant Parrish.
I have to report to Inspector Darbley.
Yes, well, you'll have to wait on that. The inspector's not here.
But look sharp, lad. The superintendent is.
Maybe I could just brush my hair and things.
Hair?
Yes, Sarge.
His hair's lovely, isn't it, Sergeant Parrish?
Oh, a bit greyer would be more in fashion round here.
What did he say his name was again?
Gallagher, I think.
David Gallagher, Sarge, but Friends call me Davy.
Yeah, well, we'll call you Constable Gallagher till we get to know you better, and then God knows what we'll call you.
Well, you and Gallagher, you know how to make tea?
Of course I know how to make tea, Sarge.
Well, this is the apparatus. 4 cups, as you can see, kept on constant standby. 6 more in this cupboard. And biscuits, always kept in this tin. A word of advice, lad, for the long years you may not be with us. Quality tea making comes first round here. Law and order, a poor second.
You said.
Superintendent Hallam in my office, George.
Yes, Ma'am. Oh, and the other new posting, Constable Gallagher, he's arrived.
It's all happening today, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am, but not necessarily for the best.
I'll say that again. I want you to see me again, sir.
Yes. Please be seated. There's something I meant to take up with you earlier. 2 days ago, I had a call from an old friend of mine, Superintendent Shipley, you know, over at Padley.
Oh, yes, sir.
He's retiring, Mrs. Darbley.
So I believe.
Did you also know he used to live here in Hartley some years back?
No, I didn't know that.
And the publican of the Sportsman's Arms is a very good friend of his.
Oh, yes?
So when he decided to have a retirement party, the publican friend offered his pub. And the publican friend put in for an extension of permitted hours until 1 a.m. for this party.
Yes, I know this, sir.
Oh, next, Mr. Shipley and the publican are staggered to find that you intend to go before the magistrates and object to this extension.
Yes, sir.
Yes, well, I've spoken to Mr. Shipley and told him I'd discuss the matter with you and suggest that you drop the objection.
I'm afraid that's not possible, sir.
Oh, how is that not possible?
I've been instructed to object by the Chief Superintendent.
I get the impression, Mrs. Darbley, you're suggesting I don't know a damn thing about force procedures. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have a pub in your section, say the Sportsman's Arms. You decide that you don't like, this occasionally happens, you don't like the pub or the publican. An application for an extension of permitted hours is made. You give the nod to the Chief Superintendent and he instructs you to object.
This is not the case, sir.
I haven't finished. I mean, this is a retirement party for a man who's had an entirely distinguished career of over 30 years serving the constabulary. I mean, among the people who are going to be at this party are many senior officers, both past and present. Now, you can get on this phone and you can say to the Chief Superintendent that because of these unique circumstances, you really have been thinking about this, and you think that this is the one occasion when an exception should be made. And I want you to get on this phone and do just that, Mrs. Darbley.
I'm sorry, sir. I can't now do that.
Are you deliberately misunderstanding me, Mrs. Darby? I know Chief Superintendent Gates. I know he has a high opinion of you. And if you do get on this phone and tell him you've changed your mind, my bet is he'll change his mind.
I'm sorry for Chief Superintendent Shipley. We've objected to extensions of permitted hours at the Sportsman's Arms before. Residents have made regular complaints about noise and disorderly behaviour around the pub within the last 3 months. I have to go through with this objection unless you talk to the Chief Superintendent and he instructs me otherwise.
I don't wish to do that. It would only advertise the difference in our attitudes. You know, Mrs. Darbley, this is about the smallest favour I could have asked of you. I now have to go back to Jack Shipley and tell him that I, the superintendent in charge, was refused cooperation by an inspector under my command. I won't forget this in a hurry.
I got the job.
Marvellous. Terrific.
Looks like a good job. And it's good money. And it was close. They interviewed 5 other girls.
That's wonderful, Annie.
Tonight we're going to go out on the town and celebrate. And I'm paying.
OK. There isn't another vacancy for a managing director's secretary.
Why?
I just got landed with a new boss and he doesn't like me.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Can't be helped.
Never mind, we'll get especially drunk tonight.
Yes, I'm afraid we will.
Yeah, don't worry, it's not that far. Hey, Arthur.
It's Davy, Sarge.
There wasn't mention of this on parade, but there've been a number of burglaries into area recently, and we reckon we've got the villain's description. He's been seen.
He's big. Big chap.
6'6" plus.
Yeah?
And he's a bit of a karate expert.
Uh-huh.
And he's left-handed. So when he goes for the karate chop, you expect the blow to come from the left, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And he always carries a transistor radio with him on the job, tuned into Radio 1. So if you hear
Radio 1?
Yeah.
Radio 1, yeah?
Yeah. And he's dressed as a woman.
And you're having me on. Come on.
A ballet dancer.
That was a smashing evening, Annie. Despite bumping into Roger. Wasn't that weird?
He was absolutely legless.
Yeah?
Do you know, he told me earlier on he wasn't drinking quite so much. I wouldn't be surprised if he made one of his weepy phone calls.
Oh, God. How long do you think we should stay up?
Let's give him until 2 o'clock.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah?
Are you making a call, sir? What's it to you? You don't seem to be making a call, sir. From your breath, you appear to have been drinking.
You're going to breathalyse me for driving a telephone.
I'll be back this way shortly, sir. Don't want you to think you spend the night in this telephone box.
I've got a bloody home to go to.
Why don't you do that, sir? Go home.
I'm waiting for a telephone call here.
At 1:30 in the morning. I'll be back this way shortly. I trust you'll be gone by then.
Yes. Yes, Gayton Road. Telephone number? Right, we'll be there as soon as possible. Thank you. Hartley to 7823.
7823.
Report your position, 7823.
Checking lock-up properties halfway down Elvira Street, Sarge.
Go to the bottom, left, then first right. Report of sound of a window breaking at the back of shop. Eldon Parade Electrics, 14 Eldon Parade.
7823 will do, Sarge. Now, who are you and what are you doing here? Stay where you are. 7823 to Hartley. Burglar on the premises at Eldon Parade Electrics, and I've got mobile required. Do you want a description of the burglar, Sarge?
Not necessary, 7823.
Well, he's 6 feet 7 inches, a left-handed karate expert with a transistor in his right tuned to Radio 1. He's wearing women's clothes, Sarge. A very fetching net over taffeta two-piece and a kind of rose pink with black sequins and diamante. I think you described that as a ballet outfit, Sarge.
What the hell are you talking about? Women's clothes?
Ballet
outfits?
Shut!
It's 2 o'clock and he's not phoned. Think I'm free of him.
Oh, good luck. I hope you're right. Just had Tom's car.
He's back?
Yeah. He wanted his cocoa and a sandwich. Would you like some?
No, no thanks, not for me.
Never eats until he's ravenous, then eats everything in sight.
I don't believe it.
Well, you knew I was coming.
Yeah, I don't believe how old you look.
Oh, get off.
Nice to see you, Annie. I haven't missed you, but the Nibs hasn't had a decent gossip in 4 years.
Not from him, certainly. Original man in the Iron Mask.
Hey, did you bring a Mountie back with you?
No, I didn't bring a Mountie back with me. They're big and boring, and I can find that here.
Yeah. I'll give us a kiss, dear.
Did you find the father of the kids?
Yeah, he's not a bad bloke. Just can't stand his wife, that's all. Not surprising. No, he says he'll come back next week, sort out his delinquents.
Good.
Do I smell excess alcohol on your breath, dearest? Hey! That was a full bottle of duty-free.
Let me explain.
I don't want explanations. It's grovelling apologies and promises to reform.
Shut up. Annie thought it best to see Roger today.
Did you?
Straight away.
Well, I mean, sooner or later he'd have found out I was back.
So she talked to him lunchtime, and tonight we went to the Raglan Bar.
Oh, yeah?
For a meal, and he was there. He was at the bar. And he got as tanked up as he'll ever get. And we reckoned if ever he was going to make one of those drunken phone calls again, he'd do it tonight. He hasn't.
Well, that's good news, isn't it?
So we had a few drinks, waiting for it not to happen.
Well, just excuse me, I'll phone Roger just to tell him what his problems are costing me in hard liquor.
I told you. He's turned rotten mean since we got married.
Ah, yeah, you two ganging up on me already. Look, the reason I act mean is I'm always kept hungry. I haven't eaten a thing all day. I'm absolutely famished, Jean.
What do you want?
Cheese on toast.
Oh, you can do that yourself. I've got to get up early in the morning. I'm in court tomorrow.
Ah, thank you.
Oh, I'll get you some food, Tom.
No, Annie. No, you've been travelling. Lovely to see you. Even though you do look 50.
Ignore him. No night, then, you two.
Good night.
Good night, love. Bring your toast up to bed. I'll take the cocoa.
Ah.
All stand in court.
Are there any applications? Mr. Elwood?
Your Worships, I have 2 applications.
Yes, Mr. Elwood?
Yes, Your Worships. The first application is for an extension of the permitted hours at the Beswick Tile Company Social Club for the evening of the 22nd of this month. It's the occasion of the annual presentation of the Safety at Work prizes, when the company awards a prize to the employee who has made the most valuable contribution to safe working in their factory. This is an annual event, and the usual letter has been submitted to the court. The application is for permitted hours to be extended from 10:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m.
Have the police any objections, Inspector?
No objections, Your Worships.
Application granted until 11:30 p.m.
I'm obliged, Your Worships. My second application is for an extension of permitted hours at the Sportsman's Arms, Hartley, on the night of the 25th this month. The hours to be extended from 10:30 p.m. that night until 1 a.m. the following morning. Now, I appreciate, Your Worships, that this application is a little unusual. Perhaps I might explain. On that evening, Mr. Shipley is holding a party to celebrate his retirement. As Your Worships may well be aware, Mr. Shipley has recently completed over 30 years as a police officer, attaining the not insignificant rank of superintendent. Now, on the occasion of his retirement, he wishes to entertain his many friends and colleagues at the party. Some of his colleagues will be unable to leave their duty until 10 p.m., and will then have to travel a distance to reach the function. For this reason, to enable Mr. Shipley to say farewell in a sociable and proper manner to his colleagues, I am instructed to make this application. The usual letter has been submitted to the court, and if Your Worships wish, Mr. Shipley is available to give evidence in support of the application.
Inspector Darblay?
Your Worships, I am instructed to resist this application. As Your Worships may recall, I have objected to the extension of permitted hours at these licensed premises on previous occasions. Residents in the vicinity of the Sportsman's Arms have complained many times to the police during the last 3 months. Complaints allege excess noise, disorderly behaviour by customers leaving the premises, and inconsiderate parking of cars by patrons. I've also received written notice from solicitors representing a number of the residents that it is their intention, unless the situation improves dramatically, to oppose the issue of the licence of the Sportsman's Arms at the next licensing session. For these reasons, I'm instructed to object to the application which has been made.
We will retire to consider this application.
The court will rise. All stand in court.
Mr. Elwood, we've given this matter our most careful consideration. We would like to record our appreciation of Mr. Shipley's long and conscientious service with the police force, and for you to convey to him our very best wishes for a long and healthy retirement. We've listened to what Inspector Darbley has said about this application. We do sympathize with the people who live in the vicinity of the Sportsman's Arms, and with the police officers who have the unenviable job of trying to mediate between the parties involved. However, we feel that should the problem continue, it may only be resolved by a decision of this bench, and it is not our intention today to anticipate that decision. Therefore, we feel we must refuse the extension of permitted hours.
As your worships please. Court will rise.
Well, Joseph, things are going to be a bit different from now on.
Yes, ma'am. I think we can all look forward to a future with Mr. Allen that's not exactly going to be a long round of laughs.
Come on, Joseph, back to the station.
Yes, ma'am.
Next on Drama, we catch up with London's finest police. The good folk of Sunhill are on the beat. In the bill.
You weren't thinking of leaving these bikes here?
No, well, I'm going to take them into the court with us.
You can read, presumably.
You're a magistrate, are you then?
Don't let them be here when I get back, will you? Unless you want booking.
morning, Inspector.
They're all a bunch of boys, aren't they?
Hey, Roy.
Quiet in court. Is your name Roy Brown?
Yeah,
How old are you?
19.
Is your address 45 Waterloo House, Hartley?
Yeah.
You're charged that at Hartley on Monday, September the 14th, you were guilty of burglary in a certain dwelling house situated at 76 Dawson Terrace, in that you enter the premises as a trespasser with intent to commit an offence of stealing therein.
The prosecution would like to ask for a remand in custody of this case, Your Worships, to enable the police to complete their inquiries.
Is there an application for bail?
Your Worships, I would like to make application for bail to be granted to the defendant. His parents have offered to act as surety for him.
In view of the seriousness of the case and the likelihood of the defendant failing to surrender to custody, the police would ask that bail not be granted in this case, Your Worships.
Bail will not be granted in this case.
Come on. Court.
And if there is any more of that, the bench will retire and have the court cleared. Roy Brown, you will be remanded in custody for 8 days pending further police inquiries. Take him down.
Oh, no. Thanks for laying on the transport, Joseph.
Right.
Oh, and Joseph, when David gets back with my car, make sure he returns the keys.
Right, ma'am. Ma'am, can I have the keys to the area car in case somebody else wants to use it?
Sorry.
Thank you.
Something. Don't go mopping those tea bags. Oh, that face. I'd have it lifted if I could think which bit needed lifting the most.
He's still living with you, is he?
You're referring to Bobby? Yes, he is.
Roy's been remanded for a week.
I know. I read it in the paper this morning. Why can't you find yourself a decent lad?
Like Bobby, you mean?
At least he's not a criminal. I mean, I might have had some fellas in my time, but at least I never stood that low.
Yeah, well, perhaps you had home to go to, didn't you?
So would you if you'd learnt to keep your trap shut.
This was my home before he came along.
Never give him a chance.
Because I knew what his game was. He wanted me out of it, and it didn't take him very long to manage it, did it, Mum?
Oh, shut up, Arlene. You're giving me a headache. Now, wear those rotten tights.
Fishnet, are they?
Oh, would you look at the state of them? I bet they're my last pair and all.
Mum? Can you lend us a couple of quid just till I get my social security?
No, I can't.
I'll pay you back.
Of course you will, next year sometime.
I need it for fares. To go and see Roy.
Look, Arlene, where do you think I got that sort of money at this time of the week? If I had 2 quid, you could have it.
help me?
I should hope so. We've been robbed.
Right. If you can just let me have some details. It's Mr. and Mrs.
I'm Mr. Robert Dawson. This is Mrs. Muriel Davis.
And your address, Mr. Dawson?
15A, Walcott Terrace.
And yours, Mrs. Davis?
Same.
Anything for me, Josie?
Just there, ma'am.
No.
And you've been robbed, you say, Mr. Dawson?
I haven't, but she has. That thieving little bitch nicked a fiver right out of her handbag.
So you know who took it, then?
Well, of course I know who took it. It was her daughter took it.
Hadn't been out the room 2 minutes.
So, your daughter stole £5 from your purse and you want to lay a complaint, do you, Mrs. Davis?
Right, Sergeant.
Mrs. Davis, do you mind, Joseph? Shall we go into my office? Please sit down. Now then. You don't think this might be better sorted out between you when your daughter gets back?
She'll not be coming back, will she?
She won't?
She don't live with us, you see. Not anymore.
Oh, she's married, is she?
She's got this fella she lives with.
When he's not in jail.
How old is your daughter, Mrs. Davis?
18.
And do you know where she does live?
Oh, yeah.
They're in this flat.
And you're quite sure that you want to involve us in this?
Look, do you want it in writing?
Mrs. Davis?
Well, it was my money and she did take it.
What I mean is, if we do get involved, then she'll have to be charged with theft, which means she'll have to appear in court, and of course you'll be asked to give evidence against her. Perhaps she was desperate for the money.
I know what she wanted it for.
Oh?
Ah, she wanted it for bush fare, to go and visit me lad over at the remand centre.
Milado being the man she's living with, right?
That's right, and it's not his first offence neither. Trash the pair of them.
And how long has she been living with him, Mrs. Davis?
Well, I don't know, 2 months maybe. I don't want to know.
Then you don't approve of the relationship?
No, I don't.
And what have you done about it?
Matter what I think. She's got a mind of her own, is that one?
Ah, and a mouth to go with it.
Oh.
You have an address for her, you say?
Yeah, 45 Waterloo House. It's up on the estate.
Well, I tell you what. You go home and sleep on it, and I'll pop round there sometime later today myself and have a word with her about it. All right?
All right.
Right.
What do you want to let us talk you out of it for?
I'll stop it.
You know their game, don't you? All they're interested in is getting out of doing any bloody work.
Shut up, yes, bye.
Did you, get anywhere, ma'am?
Waterloo Estate, Jonesy.
Hiya. Major Jim.
Yeah.
You saw him then?
Yeah.
How'd you get over there?
Bus and walked.
This must be love.
Hobson's choice, really, wasn't it? Seeing as his so-called best mate didn't give me a lift.
Business love, I told you. How is he anyway?
It's all right.
Taking his punishment like a man.
That's right.
Not a bad kid, our Roy. Strictly amateur night, though.
He was unlucky, do you know?
Listen, love. There's more to housebreaking than smashing a window and hoping nobody's at home. You should have stuck with me instead of going freelance. I'd have looked after him, just like I always did.
But he was never in trouble in his life until he got mixed up with you lot down that arcade.
You're wasting your time with Roy, love. He's a loser. You could do a lot better.
Hiya, Tin Ribs. You miss me, have you? Go and find us something to eat.
Arlene Davis.
That's right.
Can you come in? We've met before, actually, haven't we?
Have we?
Magistrate's court the other day.
Oh, yeah.
When I got back to my car, somebody let one of the tyres down.
Yeah?
I don't suppose either you or any of those lads that were with you would know anything about that.
No, you're right, I don't.
May I?
If you want.
Ooh, she's thin.
Yeah. She was starving when I took her in. I'm wet through. Somebody tried to drown her.
Nice people.
And you won't anyway.
We had your mother in this morning.
Oh, yeah?
Expect you know what about.
No.
She alleges you stole £5 from her purse.
That's a lie.
According to her, there's a £5 note in her purse when she left you alone in the living room. When she came back, you'd gone and sold the money. You're telling me now that it wasn't you that took it?
Didn't say that.
Oh, didn't you?
I didn't say I didn't take it. I said I didn't nick it. I just borrowed it, that's all.
Without her permission?
I'm going to let her have it back just as soon as I get my social security. And I told her that when I asked her if she'd lend me something.
You still got this money?
Some of it.
How much?
A couple of quid.
What happened to the rest of it?
Spent it, didn't I? On fares to go and see Roy.
Roy being Roy Brown, who was remanded in custody.
That's right. Thanks to you.
I beg your pardon?
So you should. Seeing it was you who's objected to bail.
Well, you know why, don't you? The last time he had to appear in court, he was granted bail and he failed to turn up. He had to be brought in.
Before he met me, wouldn't he? I'd have made sure he'd have turned up.
Yes, but it wasn't you that was offering to act as surety for him, was it? It was his parents.
Them?
Oh, you don't get on with
No.
them?
No, you're right, I don't.
Any more when you get on with Mr. Dawson?
That one. I'd dance at his funeral any day.
He was the reason you left home, then?
I didn't leave, I was booted.
Why was that?
Because I took an exception to him feeling free to give me Mama good hiding every time I fancy took him. She might have been prepared to put up with it, but I wanted, so I had to go, didn't I? Roy had room, so I moved in with him. Why not?
You're going to marry him?
If he asks. And wants to. If he doesn't, then...
Not much of a prospect, is he? If he carries on the way he's going.
I happen to love him. Or is that something you just wouldn't understand?
Why on earth should you think that?
Look, he's not one of your real villains, you know. One of your heavies.
No, he's just a burglar. Somebody who breaks into other people's homes without any regard at all for the possible consequences, the effect it could have on these people for the rest of their lives.
Look, am I going to be charged, or aren't I?
No, not this time if it can be avoided, but it's actually entirely up to your mother.
Oh, Bobby. I mean, no prizes for guessing who dragged you lot in.
Look, I'll talk to her again, okay? Tell her that you return the money just as soon as you've got your social security, right?
Right.
Your work.
Ah. It's Roy's.
Very good.
He went to art school for 2 years. Still couldn't get a job when he left.
You will return the money?
Said I would, didn't I?
Hey, give us a bag. That's her. She's loaded. She goes to the shops every afternoon about 2. Stays about an hour. Regular as clockwork.
It's a bit risky, isn't it? In broad daylight.
Not if you're careful. Know what you're doing, what you're looking for. What time have you got?
It's just gone 1 o'clock.
Good. Time for a jar first.
Any particular brand of cat food, Mum?
No, I don't think so. Just see what I've got, eh? Down at the supermarket.
Yes, Mum.
Yeah. Didn't know you had a cat now, man.
I have.
There's news from the Burnley Chess Club. Alan Muirhead discovers the advantages of visiting
Oh, honestly.
USA. And in our big spot today, David Netherwood talks to Dick Hope about prize-winning vegetables. But first, news of a programme on Thursday.
Mrs. Davis.
Come in.
Thank you.
Sit yourself down.
Oh, thanks.
This week,
Oh, go, though, innit?
competition features the New Romantics, a movement which surrounds quite a...
I saw Arlene last night. She assures me she'll pay you back just as soon as she's got her social security.
She says.
I have every confidence that she will. And when she does, we'll leave it at that, shall we? I have given her a stiff talking to. I'm sure it won't happen again.
I'm sure I don't know what Bobby will say.
She's your daughter, Mrs. Davis, not Mr. Dawson's, and it was your money she took.
All right, then we'll leave her.
Now, about Arlene, Mrs. Davis.
Yeah?
There's every chance that this boy she's living with will be sent to boarding school.
See? Now, I've told you about it till I'm sick. You must just be attracted to that type, that's all I can think. Sure, I don't know where she gets it from.
She told me she went to live with Roy Brown because she was kicked out of your house.
I wouldn't say she was kicked out as such.
Oh, what would you say?
Well, she made no effort at all to get on with Bobby. I mean, he gave her things, made no difference. She wasn't wearing him at any price, that was that.
And as far as you're concerned, Bobby comes first, right?
Well, we're going to get married, you see. Bobby has said we'll get married. Do you want a fact?
No, thank you. And what about Arlene? She's hardly more than a child, Mrs. Davis. You do have a certain responsibility towards her, even if she's 18 now.
Oh, she'll be all right. She's always been able to fend for herself as that one.
Perhaps because she's had to.
I don't know what you mean.
I think you do, Mrs. Davis. Now, look, she's keeping bad company. And it's my experience of that sort of situation that it's only a matter of time before she's in trouble herself with the police. The fact that she helped herself to your purse when she's never done anything like that before points the way.
Yeah, well, I just can't have her back with me. I just can't. My nerves won't stand it. I know they wouldn't. So, she'd just like to give me the money back. We'll call it quits, right?
Goodbye, Mrs. Davis.
stay with it. Mr. Logan should be there in about 10 minutes.
How bad is she?
It's hard to say. She's still in a coma. Head wounds are always bad news. Any witnesses?
One of the neighbours saw a couple of kids driving off on a motorbike, but she didn't get much of a look.
What does the doctor think?
She could be unconscious for hours, longer.
The minute she shows any sign of coming round, you get me, son, right?
Yes, sir.
Got any plasters, have you?
Oh, come in, Dina. What have you done?
I knocked it. Scraped it on my bike.
I'll have a look. I don't think I've got much, but...
Hey, you've got a cat.
Yeah. Only got a bandage. I'll dab it with cotton wool, but you'll have to have something else later.
That's all right. Ow!
Ooh, you'll have to have some stitches, you know, Dina.
Oh, I'll be all right.
Put this on for now. It won't be very good.
You've got nice warm hands.
Is that too tight?
No, it's fine. Thanks. A lot.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
It's a birthday present.
It's not my birthday.
Happy birthday then.
Oh, it's lovely. Where did you get it from?
Second-hand stall off market. Do you like it?
It's lovely. But why?
Why not? Hey, do you want a drink?
Think.
Well, go on then, try it on.
Oh, it's lovely.
Yeah, it suits you.
Hey!
I can't tempt you then. To a drink.
No. Whiskey makes me sick.
Oh yeah, me too.
You're not by any chance on your bike, Dina?
Why? Wanting a lift, are you? Over to see little Roy?
No, thanks.
He'll get done this time, love, you know. For sure.
I don't think so.
They're getting real fierce, local magistrates round here. What teenage crime going on round Hartley? So where does that leave you, eh?
How do you
When
know?
he does get sent down,
I'll be all right.
He'll be lonely for you.
I'll be all right.
That little boy lost look he has. That the attraction, is it? Brings out the mother in you.
Perhaps.
We could have a good time, you and me. If you were into it.
Yeah, well, I'm not.
Eh? Eh?
Can I come in for a minute?
Yeah.
Could I have a word?
I'll see you around, kid. Soon.
Come on your bike, have you?
No, love, spaceship.
Don't think of driving it, will you, in that condition?
I wouldn't dream of it, sir.
I thought these might help to fatten up a bit.
Oh. Thanks.
I saw your mother.
Yeah?
If you let her have the money back, she won't press charges.
Right. Thanks.
You saw Roy, then, at the remand centre?
Yeah.
Dreary places, though, aren't they? And they're all the same, you know, except some are even worse than others. In fact, a pretty terrible prospect, actually. knowing that someone like Roy is almost certain to spend a good part of his life in one or other of them, unless he pulls himself out of it. I bet he listens to you, doesn't he?
Sometimes.
You should have a talk to him about it. Really have a go at him. You could be his last chance. You'd be surprised how early they crop up sometimes. Last chances.
Nurse. She's coming round.
Hi.
It's you. Thanks. Just you think yourself lucky you didn't get summoned.
What happened to your face?
I walked into a wall.
He's been hitting you again, hasn't he?
None of your business.
You must be stupid. Why do you put up with it, Mum? Do you get some sort of kick out of being knocked about or something?
Arlene, don't start.
You're too soft, that's your
trouble. Shut up, will you, before he hears you. See, now will you go? Tell us no.
You! Ouch!
I'm warning you. You keep your hands off my mum, right?
Out, I said!
I mean it. You lay another finger on her and I'll get you.
No, Bobby, no! Will you go?
Well, come with me then, Mum.
No.
You're pathetic.
Trash!
All right.
Can you remember what he looked like, Doris?
Put his hand over my mouth. Oh, but I bit him. Oh, yes.
Can you remember anything about him? Anything at all, love?
It threw me. He had these rings. Big rings.
Rings?
Yes, on the hand that she bit. A whole fistful of them. One in particular stuck in her mind, in the shape of a letter D.
D?
Yes.
D, rings. How old did you say he would be?
Late teens, early 20s.
And they got away on a motorbike, right?
Right, so?
Yes. Yes, of course.
Sit there, love. She won't be a minute.
Hello. So now what have I done?
Nothing, I do hope. This is Detective Chief Inspector Logan. Yesterday afternoon, there was a boy at your flat. He had a lot of rings, including one with a big letter D on it.
So?
Friend of yours?
Friend of Roy's, why?
There's been an incident. We've reason to believe that boy might be able to help us with our inquiries. What's his name?
Dino.
Dino? Italian, is he?
That's his nickname.
Well, what's his real name?
John Forbes.
Do you know where he lives?
No.
Sure? But do you know where he goes? Tends to hang about. Club, pub, disco. Well?
Dino. Oh, yeah. Another one. Big lad. Fancies himself. Comes in here quite often.
Is he here now?
No. One of his mates is, though. Well, he was half a minute ago.
Are you shooting with a foot? No doubt about it. Do you reckon the old girl can identify you?
No, I shouldn't think so.
Well, supposing she can.
But we don't even know if it's that job they're on about yet, do we? Just in case, eh?
Patrick, yes.
Hiya. Excuse me. I need a favour, love.
Yeah?
A big one.
What?
Yesterday afternoon when that policewoman was round here, if anybody asks, I've been with you all afternoon, all right?
She pulled me in, you know, asking where you were.
And you told her?
No, why not?
What else did you tell her?
Just where to find you. That's all.
Did she say why she wanted me?
No, Dino, all she said was that there'd been an incident and that you might be able to help.
Right. If anybody asks, I've been with you all afternoon, all right? You tell them that.
Why should I?
Because Roy's my mate, love. Me best mate. And you're his bird. And even more important, because you've got a pretty face, love. At the moment. Oh, by the way, I'll have that necklace back.
What?
The necklace!
Why?
Because I don't want doing for burglary and you don't want doing for receiving. All right, now give it here. Hello there. Blow down arcade rings, you want to talk to me about something?
Get Mr. Logan, Joseph.
Show me your hands. Turn them over. D for Dino, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
But real name, John. Why do they call you Dino when your name is John?
They reckon I look like him. You know, James Dean.
They need glasses.
I don't fancy you either.
Don't get cocky with me, son.
Look, what is this? I mean, what am I supposed to have done?
Take off the bandage.
What?
The bandage on your hands.
Why?
Do as you're told and have less lip. Somebody bit you, did they? Like an old woman, perhaps, who's in hospital at present with a fractured skull.
What? My girlfriend gave me that. Very passionate girl.
Where were you yesterday afternoon between 2 and 3?
I was with her. We was having this, private party up at her place.
You're lying.
Not me, pal.
Yesterday afternoon, you broke into a house in Carlton Street.
No, I didn't.
Only the owner came back early because she'd forgotten her purse. And when she caught you in there, you threw her on the floor and smashed her head.
Look, I was with me girl. And if you don't believe me, don't take my word for it. Ask her outside.
Who? Outside?
Hartley's answer to Charlie's Angels. She saw me there.
He was there when I arrived. Must have been about 4:30.
Well, he says he was there all afternoon.
He's lying.
Yes, but if the girl is prepared to say that he was...
I'm sure she won't.
Where were you between 2 and 3 yesterday afternoon?
At home.
On your own?
No, with Dino Forbes.
Doing what?
What do you think?
You're lying, aren't you?
No.
He says that he's your boyfriend.
That's right.
But you've got a boyfriend. He's on remand in custody.
I have lots of boyfriends.
Why are you covering for him?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Did you get a cut, did you, of the old lady's savings?
She's lying.
Of course she is. You prove it, though.
Can I have a go at it? Do you mind?
Help yourself.
Why are you lying to us, Arlene?
I'm not.
Roy's your boyfriend. You know I know that. And how you feel about him. Has Dino threatened you, is that it? That is it, isn't it?
No.
Look, there's nothing to be frightened of. We'll give you complete protection.
I don't want your protection and I don't want your help, right? I just want to be left out of it.
But you're already in it, aren't you? And right up to your neck if you provide him with a false alibi. I mean, you do realise that's a serious crime in itself, perjury. Now, listen to me, Arlene. For your own sake, if nobody else's. The old lady got a good look at the boy who attacked her, right down to the rings he was wearing. And when she's better, we'll hold an identity parade. And if she picks out Dino, your alibi will count for nothing anyway, but it leaves you right in it. You'll be facing charges yourself then. Remember the talk we had the other day? About Roy starting a new life, and you being the one to help him, probably the only one, because you knew the sort of life ahead of him if you didn't. Well, I think that got through to you, Arlene. Now then, let me tell you what happened to put the old lady in hospital.
I don't want to know. It's nothing to do with me.
Oh, yes, it is. And Roy, too. A lot to do with you. Now, you told me your Roy wasn't a real heavy, but is Dino? I mean, really? He didn't go in that house to attack an old woman, presumably. He went in there to steal, so why did he attack her? Well, I think it's fairly obvious. She disturbed him and he panicked, and that could just as easily have been your Roy.
No.
Could still be sometime, somewhere, if you don't help him. And you're not going to be able to help him, are you, Arlene? If you're in trouble yourself by saying you spent the afternoon in bed with his mate. I mean, will Roy listen to you then, when he hears that? You disappoint me, Arlene. You really do. You told me you love that lad, and I believed you.
Wait.
The defendants will be remanded in custody for 8 days, pending further police inquiries. Take them down, please.
Oh, hello, Arlene.
Hi. Can I have a word with you, please?
Yes, of course.
Roy is still here, isn't he?
Yes, he's down in the cells now. Why?
Can I see him?
Yes, I should think so.
Only... Well, I've been thinking about what you said, and... Yeah, you are right. He does listen to me. If he could just get off with probation or a suspended sentence, then perhaps we could start afresh.
Well, I'm afraid it's not up to me now, Arlene. It's for the court to decide.
Yeah, I do realise that. It's just, well, I thought... Well, what happens if he pleads guilty, right? Admits it? It's bound to make some difference, isn't it?
Well, it's up to the bench. For our part, we'd make it clear to them that he'd given us every cooperation and saved us a lot of time and trouble by pleading guilty. Put it this way, he couldn't do any harm.
So, could I see him?
Plead guilty?
Well, you did do it, Roy.
Yeah, but if I plead guilty, I've no chance, have I?
Not much chance, anyway.
There's always a chance, Arlene.
Only that's not the point, is it? It's not, is it, Roy? I mean, there comes a time, and I mean, if you're going to end up an old lag eventually, then you've got to stop all this.
Look, I told you, I'm going to. And if I get off with this one, that's me finished with it.
It's not, is it? It won't be, you know it won't. If you get off with it this time, you'll be back down the arcade with that lot, and it'll start all over again.
So what do you want me to do? Get myself sent down?
No, just admit that you did it. Tell him you're sorry. Tell him you're really going to try or something, and if that policewoman speaks up for you, then you probably only get probation anyway.
Roy Brown, you have pleaded guilty to the charge. You've also said you're very sorry, and we're sure that you are. At the same time, you have admitted burglary, and this is not your first offence. In fact, anything but. It is our opinion that what you need is what the Home Secretary has called a short, sharp shock. The sentence of this court is that you be sent, therefore, to a detention centre for 3 months, in the hope that it will make you realise the seriousness of this sort of thing. Take him down, please.
Next on Drama, we catch up with London's finest police. The good folk of Sun Hill are on the beat. In the Bill.
Yeah. Yes? Yes?
Jack? Recognize the voice? Don't put the phone down. I'll find you. So it's me, Eddie. I'm in the town of Ryde, Isle of Wight. Fresh out of Her Majesty's bed and breakfast, Parkhurst, where you took me up for 4 years.
Now, look, Eddie.
Shut up. You've done all the talking you'll ever do.
Yes, but listen, Eddie.
Listen to me. I'm coming by degrees up north. And I want us to meet, Jack. And when we do, I'm going to kill you. And the reason I'm phoning is because I got religion in the nick. And I thought, well, you might like to say your last prayers before we meet. God be with you, Jack. And may he have mercy on your rotten soul.
Oh, my God.
Hello? Oh, yes, please ask her to come in. Right.
Hello, Annie.
Jean.
How's it going?
A bit knocked by all this. I must say, I never thought I'd be phoning you professionally.
Morning, James.
Morning, ma'am.
How's it look?
Not good, ma'am. Nothing decent in the way of a print. Drawer forced open with something like a chisel, a screwdriver. Drawer handles, grainy wood. There's been a lot of hands on it recently.
All right, James.
I'll take myself off, ma'am.
Right. Well, tell me all.
Oh, it's awful. I came in the morning, exactly 9 o'clock. This drawer's wide open. Petty cash box with £150 in it completely disappeared.
What did the petty cash box look like?
Small grey metal box, not very substantial, with a lock to it. I wouldn't have thought it would be too difficult to break it open.
And where's the key to this drawer kept?
Top drawer of the filing cabinet over here. I mean, 7 weeks in the job. My boss is away at a sales conference, Edinburgh. When I phoned him, he asked me what 10 other people have already asked me. Was I sure I locked the drawer last night? Well, of course I locked it.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, James. Don't get upset, Annie. A burglar is always a bit of a shock.
I know what the rest of the office is thinking. The new, well-travelled, highly paid managing director's secretary walks off and leaves the petty cash box in an unlocked drawer. And maybe there are some who think I walked off with it.
Oh, come on.
Well, if I'd been here for years, it somehow would be okay, but 7 weeks in the job and cash gone missing and police and a fingerprint man in the office, and suddenly it's all down to me. And you know I want to make a good impression here, Jean. I like this job. I need this job.
Sergeant Duckworth tell you he'd found no signs of forced entry?
He said it looked like an inside job.
Well, it does. They're taking your fingerprints, love.
Yes.
You're in capable hands with Sergeant Duckworth. You know I can't take over his inquiry, but I'm certainly going to talk to you about it as a friend. I imagine he's already asked you if you've any suspicions about anyone in the building who might, just might, have done this.
Yes, and I said I didn't know.
Any of the staff been behaving suspiciously recently?
No, not really.
Have you heard of anyone with debts? Anyone in financial trouble?
No.
Is there something you want to tell me that you didn't say to Sergeant Duckworth?
Oh, this is awful, but... Well, there's a really nice boy. The post clerk. He joined the company around about the same time I did. Well, he's been hanging around this office rather a lot during the past couple of weeks. I mean, I've nothing at all to be suspicious about, except for that. I kept wondering why he'd been hanging around here so much, and then this happens.
What's his name?
Trevor Knott.
And you didn't say this to Sergeant Duckworth?
No, and I don't think I should be saying it to you.
Can I have a look at him? Can you get him in here?
Yes, I've got some post for him, actually. Just a minute. Mrs. Banks, would you ask Trevor to come in for a moment, please? My dear. Thank you.
We'll just have him checked out. Would there be some company records with his date of birth, etc.?
Well, yes, there must be somewhere. I could find out.
Yes, Mrs. Howlett.
Oh, Trevor. Parcel for you, Red Star, as soon as possible.
Right. Have they got any clues on the theft?
Not yet. This is Inspector Darby from the police.
Hello. Red Star to Euston?
Yes.
Right.
Yes?
It's me. Don't put the phone down. Well, this is your last day, Jack. Not bad, really, from where I'm speaking. Euston Station. A bit of sun. Pleasant, really. I'm about to board the train. Oh, by the way, how's the baby?
Listen, Eddie, I've got a little money. I'll pay you.
It's not down to money, Jack. It's down to the big meeting. First with me, then with your maker. Next up, Manchester. Nearly home. I'll have a few jars in Manchester and I'll give you a tinkle.
What's that tip you said you got for Thursday?
Beverley, 3 o'clock. Taylor's Revenge.
Taylor's Revenge? I've never heard of it.
Well, that gives me grounds for considerable optimism.
I need your help.
It's not a major robbery, Bernard, but I'd like us to do our best. Check this Trevor Knott character, and all of us have access to the office.
Yes, ma'am.
Annie Howlett's an old friend of mine. Do what you can, please. Is there much on the CID front?
No, ma'am. Oh, I've got a message from Mr. Logan to stand by for a visit at 11:30.
Right.
I'll get back to Mrs. Howlett, see if there's any other names to check out.
Thanks. Come in.
Ma'am, there's a Mr. Jack Willis I'd like to talk to you urgently.
Where is he?
I don't know, there's something vaguely familiar about the name, not the face.
What about?
He has a baby and a pram with him, ma'am. He seems very upset.
Fetch him in, Joseph.
Will you come this way, Mr. Willis?
Please, take a seat. Mr. Willis, yes?
Yes.
And you wanted to see me?
I wanted to see who's in charge, the top man.
That's me, Mr. Willis. What can I do for you?
I'm Jack Willis, who turned Queen's evidence in the Miller trial 4 years ago.
I'm not familiar with the trial, Mr. Willis.
Well, you'd better check on it. Because I'm here because I got 2 phone calls from Eddie Miller, just out of Parkhurst. And he said he's coming now to kill me. And I know he means it.
Kill you?
Yeah,
You take the threat seriously?
too right, I take it seriously. You police have had your value out of me. He wouldn't have been in Parkhurst but for me, so you've got to protect me. I gave a favour to justice 4 years back, and only because of that I'm in danger. So what are you going to do about it?
Just a minute, Mr. Willis. All in good time. We want to know more about that. But you've brought a baby here, yes?
Daughter, that animal might go for her if you don't get me.
Yeah, well, where's your wife, Mr. Willis?
She left me. But I want to sort out this Eddie Miller business now.
Ma'am?
Yeah? Just a minute, Mr. Willis.
Well, he can't leave off now to do something else. This is urgent.
A minute, Mr. Willis.
This Eddie Miller he's talking about, ma'am. One of a big family of right villains. Dad Miller lives in Hartley. The lads live round about local.
OK. Get the form on this one. And Eddie Miller. And the other Millers.
Right, man.
Call Mr. Logan, you better hear this, and call Parker's, check the time of release.
What about the baby, man?
We'll see to it, Joseph.
Now look, am I getting through? I want you to put me in a cell now and lock door, so I know I've got some protection from this animal.
A minute,
And then I
Mr.
want you to
Willis.
place man in my house, so when he turns up there, you can arrest him quickly.
Now look, Mr. Willis, there is some checking to be done here, but assuming you were telling the truth...
Assuming? You might have something. Do you think I'd come in here unless it were true?
I'm saying we have to do some checking.
Are you going to put men in my house, or aren't you?
Mr. Willis, we cannot arrest a man straight out of prison unless we can prove he's committed a crime.
What? I've got to be killed first?
Look, your baby's crying and I want to have a look at your baby.
Oh, for God's sake. What's going on here? You're not going to help me, are you? You're not going to lock me up, are you? You're not going to arrest him?
All in good time, Mr.
There
Willis.
there isn't time. He's coming now. He's going to kill me.
Catch him, go on after him. Come on, sweetheart.
I wasn't involved, but I remember the trial well. And it was Willis's evidence, and only his evidence, that sent Miller away. It's a pity that such a weasel of a man had to show Beck and Paddish a clean pair of heels.
And left us holding the baby.
What about the baby?
Well, it's well cared for. Clean, well fed. Very relaxed little thing now we've stopped Sergeant Beck singing lullabies to it.
Can't imagine Joe Beck singing lullabies.
Nor could the babe.
I understand that Bernard Duckworth is looking into a £150 cash box robbery involving a friend of yours.
Crowfield Electric, that's right, sir.
Well, I'll have to take him off that to help on this.
Yeah, OK.
It's complicated. We won't be getting the proper files on all the Millers until later. 4 sons, 1 daughter. The Miller family. All of them villains, and all of them capable of doing for Willis. Those 3 cars, the Granada, Cortina, and Maxi, registered to 3 of the brothers, so they're probably inside there now.
Family meeting behind closed curtains.
Well, isn't it the tradition that the coming-out party for the prodigal's return from jail always starts up well before his release?
So if they're all in there from last night, with hangovers, might be a good time to visit.
Can I ask you a rude question, June?
Yeah?
This is very obviously CID. Do you think that you have an interest in it?
Yes, I do. I'm involved now in the interests of baby Willis. I'm looking for a father and a mother, and that's highly relevant to this lot.
OK. But don't go jumping the gun, and no initiatives on your part without consulting me first, please.
Yes, sir.
I think we will visit. Logan, CID, aren't they?
They're here. It's Isn't police.
What the hell do you want?
I want to speak to Eddie Miller.
Do you? Who's your girlfriend?
Is Eddie Miller here?
You know damn well he isn't.
What's all this, George?
Local wooden tops.
Aye. What do you want?
They want Eddie.
Well, he's not here, is he? Go on, you can search the house.
I'll talk to his father, then.
Talk to his father, do you? Look, his father's our dad.
Just a few words.
Let's give him Dad.
Aye, might get a laugh out of the clans.
In kitchen. Talk to him, but be quick, 'cause you're not staying, and keep your hands out the silver, hey?
I'll be back to talk to you.
Aye, you try it.
For God's sake, what are you doing? If you don't get out, there'll be a fight.
Who are you?
What is it? One's just got out and you want another
Who
back
are
inside.
you?
I'm Eddie's sister, Maureen. And who the hell do you think you are?
We just want to talk to your father.
Talk. And fast. And as soon as you're finished, leave by the back door.
Who's that?
Hello, Mr. Miller.
Is my lad back yet? Is my Eddie back?
Not yet. Do you know me?
No.
We have met.
Huh?
Chief Inspector Logan, and this is Inspector Darby.
God in heaven, what's all this about then? What are you here on? Business or social?
Just want to chat about your son, Eddie.
Nay, I'm an out. I'm half dead, me. I can't hardly move. Arthritis, it's terrible. Pain gets worse every day. National health does bloody nothing. This country's going down the spout, isn't it, eh?
You could be right.
Look, my lads are good lads. They've always looked after me, but you know how it is. Income tax and that, it's not easy to make honest money these days. Look, I'm just old. I'm tired. I just want to die.
Your family were like that, Mr. Miller.
It's always been a struggle for me. Now I just want to go. I can't even do that.
Mr. Miller. Does your son, Eddie, still listen to you?
Listen to me?
Take your advice.
I don't know.
I want to give him some advice. Will you pass it on?
Depends on what.
It's important. 4 years ago, your son Eddie was sent to jail on the evidence of a man, Jack Willis.
Don't I know it? Do you think I don't know that?
Now, Willis is complaining that since your son got out yesterday, he's been making threatening phone calls.
Is that right?
Yes, it's right. So we are forewarned, and we want you to warn Eddie that if anything happens to Willis, we'll know who to come for.
Jack Willis is not but an animal. He always was.
Do you know who Willis's wife is? Or the mother of his child?
How would I know?
Can you tell us what time you expect Eddie back here?
None of your business, but... Yes. When he's finished at his tailor's.
Tailor's?
He always goes to tailor's first thing after coming out of the nick. He's very fussy about his clothes, is Eddie. He'll order himself 3 new suits. I've said enough, that's it.
Thanks.
Will you please leave now?
Now what do you want?
Nothing.
Well, get them out of here and get yourself out now.
John Connors, the chief instructor, welcomes them to the centre. Look in the hand. This is a trainee's handbook. Now this handbook.
What's the name of Eddie's tailor?
Taylor?
Yes.
It's his cousin, Lenny Goodall. Queen's Parade, Manchester.
So?
Now go.
Yes, this is Detective Chief Inspector Logan. I'm at Harley's section. I wonder if you can spare a man to watch a tailor's shop.
Which address, sir?
Lenny Goodall, Queen's Parade, Manchester.
Now, sir?
Yes, now. And follow and clock a visitor he might have. An Eddie Miller, late of 112 Arlen Parade, Hartley. Date of birth, 4/4/35. Who will visit shop at some point during day.
Can you give me a description, sir?
I can give you a photographic reference. Do you have the Police Gazette for last October 17th? It's item 185.
5.
Right. I may come over.
All right, sir.
Well, much appreciated. Thanks a lot. I think I will go to Manchester.
Right.
Can you handle this end?
Oh, yes, I should think so.
Oh, well, I'll take Paul Davis with me, and we'll leave Bernard Duckworth on watch outside the Miller household. And no initiatives, please, Jean. Consult me first unless it's an emergency.
Of course. Would I do anything else?
I'll talk to you later. See you later, Joe.
Ma'am, your husband's here to collect the baby.
Where's the baby?
With your husband in the locker room, ma'am.
Joseph, you know about this petty cash theft?
Yes, ma'am. Bernie Duckworth told me.
Well, Bernie's now watching the Miller house. Mr. Logan's taking Davis off to Manchester. I'd like to press on with this Crowfield electric business. Annie Howlett has a suspicion about a man, Trevor Knott.
Bernard's check records, ma'am. He's clean.
Yes, I know.
I just wondered if there was some chance that you might spend a little time doing some checking.
A privilege, ma'am.
Do you mean that, Joseph? A privilege?
I'm always pleased to help you out, ma'am.
Thank you. Here we are, I've signed the form.
Oh, good. So now she's the responsibility of the social services, eh?
I got her down as Baby Willis. Maybe that's an assumption.
Well, I had thought of calling her Baby Helen, after somebody else who's always dropping in unexpected.
Bye-bye, little one. Bye-bye.
Come on, let's give you some dinner, eh?
Careful.
Right. Look, how about having some lunch after I've parked the baby?
Unlike some, I'm too busy.
Fair enough. Anyway, I'm cutting down on my lunches. Unlike some, I've got to watch my waistline.
Well, bear you drinking have to.
Thank you.
See you later.
All right, bye.
Well, now what's happened?
I lost him.
You what?
Aye, but I found him again.
Thank God for that.
I was hiding in a barn off Orchard Lane. Fitters farmer his dad used to work.
You better not lose him again or you'll have Eddie on you.
What the hell are you madmen doing? If you kill Jack, then he'll be back inside for the rest of his life.
Now, listen to me, the three of you. Let's get it straight what's going on here in case anyone thinks it's some kind of joke. Jack Willis has got to be done.
Because of you. That's it. You're the one that wants revenge. Do we want it?
No, you just shut your mouth, girl, before I take my hand to you. And now you two listen to me. We're a family, eh? We always have been. Even more so since your mother died. Well, you just think of that. We stick together. We got rules. Not the same rules as other people, perhaps. Our rules. And they're simple. It's always been our lot against all the rest. We didn't make it that way. That's just the way it worked out. So we don't fit into this or any other rotten town. But we've survived because we got rules. The family, first and every time, right?
Right.
Yep.
Stick together. We're a match for anyone. It were always like that till an animal called Jack Willis come into the family because of you.
You wanted him on the job.
When that animal come into the family, don't you kid yourself. He knew the rules. He worked them out and he decided to break them, to fly in the face of everything this family is.
So Eddie kills him and goes back for life?
Not will you tell your sister to shut her mouth.
Shut it, or I will.
Now, look, I don't know if Eddie will kill him. Well, maybe he'll leave something of him with breath in it. All I know is we can't bend the rules or we're finished. Jack Willis tried to finish us, didn't he? From the inside. He destroyed your loyalty, didn't he, eh? Shocked our Eddie, he tried to finish the lot of us. Well, I don't know what the final price for that lot is. For the minute, we'll leave it to Eddie. But Jack Willis is going to pay. And if no one else collects the payment, then it's down to me, eh? And I'll do it.
You live with your father, yes?
Yes, what's it to you?
And your brothers are around the house just for the party?
Yes. And don't you dare come back.
I take it your father doesn't like you.
Look, what do you want? I've work to do. I want nothing with you.
Your brother has been making threatening phone calls. Jack Willis has taken that seriously enough to come to us with a baby in a pram, dump the baby on us and take to his heels. I want to talk to you about Willis.
Most ministers don't talk about Jack Willis.
You'll talk about him here or at the police station. Which is it?
All right, ask your questions. Then go away, you'll get me the sack.
According to our records, Willis has been done twice with Millers, once 5 years ago and also 7 years ago. There must have been a time when your family was close to Jack Willis.
Aye.
How close?
I'd liked him. He was useful.
He was a peterman, safe breaker. Useful in the family business?
Say what you want.
I want the name of the mother of Jack Willis's baby girl.
I don't know.
That's my interest in Willis. If you want to get rid of me, get me the name of the baby's mother, where she is.
Well, I'll see. See if I can find out.
Okay. I'll be back, Miss Miller.
Where is baby? Is it still at police station?
Why do you want to know?
Well, if I find name her mother, I can tell her where to go.
It's at St Kilda's, the children in care home. Can you help me on one more point?
What?
Why did Willis, a seasoned villain, turn Queen's evidence when he'd known your family so well and for a long time?
I don't know. I don't know!
Willis? Get Willis.
Yes?
Phone.
What is it?
I don't know.
Yes?
Just to Piccadilly Station. 13:50 from Stafford.
Who is it?
Is now approaching platform.
Ale still lousy at the King and Scepter, Jack.
13:50.
We should get into this real ale thing I read about. Well, your last drink.
Eddie, listen.
No. No. There's nothing to listen to. Nearly home, Jack. Have you done what I told you? Have you said your prayers? God forgives all, Jack. But not me.
Come in. Bernard back from the miller's house?
He's on his way, Mum.
Right. Mr. Logan's just phoned from Manchester. Before he could get to the tailor's shop, Miller had paid it a visit. CID then followed Miller to the station. His train will be in Hartley in 25 minutes. Bernard and I will meet it, and hopefully it'll lead us to Willis.
Yes, Mum.
Right, how did you make out, Joseph?
I turned up something that might be useful, ma'am. I went to Crowfield Electric. Your friend Annie Howlett pointed out Trevor Knott to me. I talked to the personnel department and they gave me the name of his last employer. I phoned them and got the name of his two previous employers. They had nothing to report, except it seems that Trevor Knott never holds down a job for more than 6 months.
Yeah?
Well, it's a bit odd, ma'am. Young fella trying to get on in life, not holding down a job for more than 6 months.
True.
I'll keep an eye on him when he leaves work at 5. Nose around a bit where he lives, talk to his neighbours.
Be discreet.
Discretion's the word, ma'am.
Right. I'm off to the station. We're really nothing on him, and he knows that. We'll follow him, and if he sees us, we'll warn him off.
Yes, ma'am.
Train's back due.
I see you now.
I'll go to Pa Miller's, but don't expect to go in there, though.
I'll go back to the office. I have to break the news to Mr. Logan.
Yes, ma'am.
George, have you seen my bicycle clips?
Happens so.
Well, where are they then?
Fat lot of good you going off to do some detecting when you can't even find your own bicycle clips. What are these?
Ta.
Sherlock Holmes never wore bicycle clips.
Nothing from Bernard.
Oh, yeah, Mum. Partly, please.
George, Tom, darling, can I speak?
Oh, yes, she's here, Tom. It's your husband, Mum.
Tom. Hello, Tom.
Hey, Jean, look, I'm still at St Kilda's. I thought you ought to know. I've just had a call from a woman, wouldn't give a name. She wanted to know if the Willis baby was okay.
Local accent? Yeah. Oh, thanks, Tom. I only told one person the baby was at St Kilda's. Who's been knocking you about, love?
I'm saying no.
All right, Maureen. Why did you phone St Kilda's? What's your interest in this baby?
What baby?
I noticed that you weren't really part of the coming out party. Even your dad shouted at you to get out of the kitchen. Shall I tell you what's clear to me? That your family like you as much as they like Jack Willis. Now, why should that be? I'll tell you a possibility I worked out. That the baby that Jack Willis dumped on us is your baby.
No.
Both of us want the same thing, to stop something violent happening. You must realise that Jack has been followed by your brothers from the moment Eddie was released from Parkhurst yesterday, and with one end in view, to get them together. Now, we can help him. We can protect him. You can't. Only we can do it. So come on. It is your baby, isn't it?
Yes.
You married to Jack Willis?
No, but it's our baby.
How could you and Jack have been so close when he betrayed your brother and your family hate him? Was it you who introduced him to the family?
Yes.
As your boyfriend?
Yes.
But he became useful to them for a while, helping them on jobs. Then what happened?
My brother Eddie turned against him. Told me to get rid of him.
But you didn't?
No, I pretended we weren't together. And then when Eddie and Jack got caught on a job, well, it seemed the answer to Jack. He turned Queen's evidence and got off so we could be together while Eddie was in jail. And then we had the baby. And my brothers found out and told Eddie.
Where is Eddie?
I don't know, out looking for Jack.
Where's Jack? Look, we're his only chance. Think of the future. Think of your baby's future if Eddie gets to Jack. Come on, where is he?
He phoned me. He told me he'd run out of places to hide. I suggested our old laundry building. Hermes Laundry, Mill Lane. I don't know, he may have gone there.
And who knocked you about?
Eddie.
Did you tell him, the old Hermes Laundry?
I did. I had to.
Inspector Darby to Hartley.
Yes, Mum.
Sergeant Parrish, get yourself and anyone else available to meet me at the old Hermes Laundry, Mill Lane. As quickly as possible, please. It's about Willis and the Millers.
I'm a police officer.
Oh? What can I do for you?
A man came in just now and made a purchase.
Yes, Mr. Knott. Bought a portable television. Black and white. Looked at it yesterday and said he'd pick it up today.
Do you know Mr. Knott well, sir?
No, never saw him before yesterday.
Can you tell me how he paid for the television, sir?
Aye, in a bundle. Cash.
Cash?
Aye, £150, all cash.
Can you do something for me, sir? Can you put the notes that he paid you carefully on one side, just for an hour? I'd like to send a police fingerprint expert round to check something.
Why? What's the matter then?
Just checking the notes to see if they have the prints of a certain lady who may have handled the cash before Mr. Knott.
Hartley, Inspector Darbley on watch at the old Hermes Laundry, Mill Lane.
Hartley to Inspector Darbley. Sergeants Parrish and Duckworth should be with you shortly, ma'am.
All right. I hope that means shortly. Jack Willis? Jack Willis? This is the police. I know you're here. Jack? Come on, Jack. Come out here. Jack, I know you're here. Come on. Show yourself, Jack. Come on. Come on, Jack. Jack? Jack Willis? I have a message for you from Maureen.
What message, love? A friend of Maureen's. Tell me where Jack is, love. Is he or is he?
I'm a police officer.
A police officer. Pull the other one. Pull it right off.
I'm a police officer.
You stay quiet while I look for Jack.
Miller! Miller! Open this door immediately! You're under arrest!
to be sensible. Well, you're looking for the fastest train back to Parkhurst.
Oh, come on, Eddie. Drop the hammer.
You haven't got a hell of a lot on me. I'll take my chance in court.
You're under arrest for involvement in an assault against your sister and threatening me with a hammer. I warn you, you're not obliged to say anything unless you wish to do so, but anything you do say may be put in writing and given in evidence.
Willis! I'm warning you. You'll be wanted to give evidence against Miller again. So don't go anywhere we can't get hold of you. Understood?
Yes, yes.
I'll have you, Jack! Next time, man! You for the hammer! Next time!
Clear out of here, right now and fast, or I'll be thinking about conspiracy charges. Trevor Knott will be charged. You'll have to make a court appearance. Should be brief. It's an open and shut case. Your fingerprints were all over the cash he said he'd been saving for years.
I can't tell you how grateful I am. Oh, and please say thank you to Sergeant Beck.
Yes, of course.
Well, I must get back to the works. Set in motion the sacking of one Trevor Knott. We're going to meet up later for a celebration drink.
Oh, heck, it's not going to be another of those nights, is it? Hey, me trying to watch Panorama, you two blind drunk on scotch, singing rugby songs.
You be quiet. You've contributed very little, Tom Darbley. You get off and get that baby back to Maureen Miller.
Come on, let's go before she collapses in irons.
George, can you come in here, please? See you later.
All right. Bye, love.
Bye.
Hey, off
Hi,
Yes, Mum.
Mr. Logan's been diverted to headquarters. He'll be here about 8:30. I'd like your report and Berners before he arrives,
Yes,
please.
Mum. We'll have 'em ready.
Any news of the party at the Miller house?
No, I think they put the booze back in the cupboard till the next time he comes out. And this all starts over again. And it will all happen again.
Yes, but meanwhile, rather a successful day, wouldn't you say?
If you say so, Mum.
I do say so, George.
Yes, Mum.
Next on Drama, we catch up with London's finest police. The good folk of Sunhill are on the beat. In the bill.
What's this?
With the compliments of Superintendent Allen, ma'am.
He called in Saturday evening, Mum.
What does it mean?
Smacked left hand, ma'am.
early, darling. Come in. OK. Now, before we get all hot and bothered about the guppies on the carpet, we need more light. Do you want to help? Don't worry, darling. Oh, oh. That one. Then the red one next to it. Then that one. Great. Well done.
Uniform lockers. All waste paper, crisp packets, broken pencils will be removed forthwith. A calendar of the type advocating nude yoga. Remove it, please. Gentlemen's toilets. There is a pair of dirty football boots in a plastic carrier bag by the shower. Apparently. Get them out of the station. Finally, personal appearance. I remind you about your haircuts. I no more expect you to look like skinheads than behave like them, but your hair should be of a reasonable length, especially at the back of the head. We do not look like the aftermath of the towering inferno in here, but we're not perfect, and we're going to be perfect. Sergeant Parrish, I want to see Mrs. Harris when she's finished.
No. All that means Superintendent Allen's on the prowl. So it's do as you're told time. Still, these complaints of aerosol artists decorating fences and park seats. Let's get a result. Dismiss.
Mrs. Stannard? Mrs. Stannard!
Hello. Don't you touch me. Keep your bloody hands to yourself, if you can.
Mrs. Stannard, all I want to do is talk to Laura. Listen. Everything all right, Mum? Back there.
I'm telling you, if you don't do something about him, we will.
About who and what?
Him. Mucking about with kids.
You just give me your name and address, Mum.
Why?
Well, I take it you'll wish me to look into any
No,
complaint.
you stop me. I'm not giving nothing to nobody. What I am saying is you to do something about it, because if you don't, we'll all turn round. It'll be too late.
What you want? Protecting your property, sir. So what do you fancy? What are they? Orphans. But one sure thing, they pull the kids. And you like kids, do you? We can talk, yeah. Do you? Only I noticed you were having a bit of an altercation with that lady a few minutes ago, sir. That was private. She say anything? She made a complaint? Now, why should she do that, sir?
So what the hell are you doing here, then?
Shout, sir. You say it was private. I'm saying in future, just watch it.
Watch what?
Just you watch.
What's your name and number?
The dust will have to come off the extinguishers, Alice.
I don't like flicking them too hard in case they go off.
They won't go off, because they can't.
All right, then. I've never had a complaint before. Have you ever had cause to complain about me buffing?
Any comment I've made has always been about too much polish.
That's right. I make the tins last.
The squeegee bucket and mop. Don't leave them in the cell passageway. Put them away in your cupboard.
Joe Beck told me to leave them out. If the drunks throw up, he makes them mop it. He won't let me do it.
Quite right, Alice. They will clear up their own mess, but the bucket will be collected from the cupboard. Alice, we've got a new superintendent who's keen on all this. All right? Thank you, Alice.
All a question of new brooms and old covers, Mum.
Squeegee bucket and mop. Why wasn't I informed Saturday night?
I was told not to bother you. Weekend and all that.
Right. Mr. Hallam proceeds to nitpick the place to bits. Did he have any comment to offer on our clear-up rate? School liaison?
No.
No, just nudie calendars. And he'll be back. This is a memo.
Joe reckons tomorrow or Thursday.
What kind of mucking about?
She never said such.
When anybody tells you anything about a crime, you keep at it. Get every ounce out of it, OK?
What's this?
A woman stopped the boy David here and accused Mr. Ramsey, pet shop owner, Hartley Road, of mucking about with kids. She then skedaddled without leaving a card. You keep at it. Keep your eyes open. If you see her, call me. We'll coax something out of her, then we'll go to the shop.
I already have such.
Without a written statement of complaint?
Yes, Mum.
You better tell us what happened.
Well, he asked me what the aggro was and I couldn't tell him.
What's the training school for?
And was he angry?
Mum?
Mucking about can cover over-friendliness, common assault, indecent assault, or worse. And we shall need some corroboration, don't forget. Now, I want that woman found. I want a statement in writing, and when you go, go with the sergeant. Listen when he speaks to her and learn.
Can I help?
What form are you in?
Haven't I seen you before?
I'm an animal lover.
What? You fancy poodles? Or you're hyperactive? You run the pet shop.
I'm looking for Mark Stannard.
He's away. And who's your friend?
If he asks you anything, will you tell him we're just good friends and we're making a date?
Why should I? What time?
Pet shop. Anytime.
Excuse me, miss. Do you know that young man?
Never there when you wanted. Like bloody buses. Come in twos or not at all.
How come you got handbills for the pet shop?
Printing mad, that lad is. Oh, I know he's good at it. God knows we've spent enough money on it. Still, when he's only one, it's natural.
Young Mark.
But they're staying there. You're not going near that place.
Why not?
It's why you're here. The kind of man he is.
And what's that?
You know your job.
No, I don't. You'll have to tell me. And, what do you mean by mucking about?
A month ago, our Mark went down that shop on off chance. And because Ramsey's knew we wanted an handbill printed for town, Mark said he'd do it in a fortnight. And his dad and me, we agreed. So long as it didn't interfere with his studies, he could. Well, he keeps coughing, you see. Keeps him off school.
He's upstairs now.
Just let Mrs. Stannard finish.
Thank you. Mark told me he just popped in a week later to check something, some information on sheet. And while he was there, Ramsey touched him.
Where was he touched?
Behind him.
Under his clothes?
Under.
How old's Mark?
13.
When did he tell you this?
A couple of days ago.
So the alleged offence took place, what, 3 weeks ago? The law of the land, Mrs. Stannard, is if a child is assaulted and they go and tell another person immediately it happens or within a reasonable time, that person, say the mother, can give evidence in a court of recent complaint. But 3 weeks after, no chance. And we'll need corroboration before we can bring a prosecution. I don't know your lad, but he knows what's what. Do you think for your own peace of mind we should have him examined?
No, I looked at him. There's no wrong.
Are you sure? In every particular?
Yes.
I'd like to see Mark.
Oh, no.
Why not?
I'm not having our name in paper.
As a juvenile, he wouldn't be named.
Have you thought, Mrs. Stannard, if he did do this to Mark, he might do it to some other lad?
That's your problem. You're not using my butcher.
Yeah?
What a pretty effect.
Until tomorrow.
Oh, you're not going to change it?
One of the tubes is on the blink. Their darkness and their shining are for plant growths.
I'm all for assisted nature. I teach biology.
Through there.
I bet you're a vegetarian because of the animals.
That and certain kinds of cooking I've been forced to partake of during my life.
Are you? Wonderful.
On people's birthdays, yeah.
I'm 51 today. I've interrupted your meal.
No, I've done. Sit down. I'm afraid I'm out of drink.
Where are we going? For our date.
I'm new round here. I don't know the pubs.
Well, if the animals are down for the night, follow me. You may be wonderful. In fact, I was banking on it. But you're also very odd, Mr. Ramsey.
Steve.
In the playground with the police on your tail, you were cool and funny. Two virtues badly lacking in the staff room, where I spend my days growing old. Now you're nervous. Is that because you're really very dull? Don't fancy women? A liar. You hate being invaded. Or has once again the force of my death-ray personality scared the living daylights out of a presentable male? You may utter. Better.
Did you speak to that copper?
Mm-hmm.
Grassing?
Mark Stannard, where he lived, what his mother looked like.
I asked you not to.
You asked me to say we were just friends and making a date, which I did. I don't tell lies, any more than I am now. I'm here to tell you what I've done. It's equal.
I reckon you'd organise the mafia into two straight lines.
What's the bother over Mark?
He's promised to deliver some things. I need them. And for a reason she won't let on, his mum won't let me there or him here.
Why should the police be worried about that?
No idea.
Well, then ask them.
Who are you?
Anne, your date.
I come from a planet where unless you're suffering from severe brain damage, you don't talk to the old Bill. I've got a job I like and a pad to go with it. So if I shut my eyes, maybe they'll go away.
Do you want to come?
I'm not very good with lots of people.
Well, do you want us to collect some cans and soup here?
Yeah.
Do you already have classical?
Yeah.
CID can't move. They're up to their armpits.
What do they think we are?
They say if I come up with a definite statement of complaint, OK, they'll pitch in. But we've got nothing.
So what do you suggest?
We could have put him away.
All right, so you've got kids.
What excuses are for you going back to that shop?
None.
If we can't nail him, then we've got to move him on.
We'll do this right. Has he got a record?
No.
Why now if he's got no previous? You'll have to dig around. In the meantime, Gallagher can do an observation on him. Let him taste the full beauty of aching feet.
In uniform?
No, civvy jacket. No point in me talking to the boy or his parents.
Only if all else fails, ma'am.
Right, George, I want to get those office boots clear by 6.
You reckon he's dirty?
They all have to be at 74 degrees.
Where did you learn all this?
Where I was before?
Don't be so touchy. Just answer.
No.
Why not?
You ask too much.
Ah, you're hiding.
I don't trust nobody. There's falling roles in schools, right?
Yes.
Punters prefer to spend their money on things, not kids.
Like animals.
So sometime soon, like 3 million other working pecks, you might be out of a job.
Cheers.
I don't reckon you've any need to worry.
Thank you.
You can always join the police.
You don't like me asking questions. I am a curious lady. I delight in questions. I think we're wasting each other's time. Night.
Who's in charge? I want to make a complaint against one of your steaming officers, PC 7823.
My hearing's all right, sir. You just come with me.
Here's good enough. Yesterday, he swaned into my shop making allegations he couldn't back up. Yesterday lunchtime, he followed me to Barrow Lane School. Then this morning, he poked his beak into my backyard. Why? On whose authority?
You're Mr. Ramsey from the pet shop.
What is this? I've done nothing. How do you know who I am?
That's a complaints leaflet, sir. Read it carefully. And then if you still formally wish to complain about the officer, will you please phone me, Sergeant Parrish, later today, and I'll arrange for a senior officer to visit you at your home.
Just get him off my back, or I'm going to my solicitor and my MP.
Mr. Ramsey from the pet shop. Young Gallagher's been observing too close. I think I must be developing a split personality.
Could be painful.
What I really wanted to say to him was, you're a filthy little runt, and I can smell you bad. And if I had anything to do with it, I'd run a panda car over your neck. Carefully. I'm in reverse.
I hope he didn't.
No, I'll give him a leaflet.
Do you really mean it about his MP? If he's that vehement, he could have nothing to hide.
That's bluff, Mom.
My instructions were he was to be observed discreetly. Have a word with young David, will you, George? Tell him he does nothing without radioing in first.
Oh.
Right, I want to get those pocketbooks done before parade.
7823 to Hartley.
Come in, 7823.
I'm at Hilltop Woods, Sarge. Mr. Ramsey's got his van parked here.
What's he doing?
Well, he seems to be just sitting listening to music.
Is he on his own?
No one's in the passenger seat.
Could someone be in the back?
I don't know. I'll try and get a better look.
Inconspicuous mind.
Yes, Sarge.
What's he doing up there, eh?
Enjoying the scenery, watching the wildlife, listening to music.
Rubbish.
7823 to Hartley.
Hartley.
I don't know whether there's anybody with him or not, Sarge. He's just sitting there as far as I can see.
Stay where you are. Sergeant Beck's on his way over to you. Out.
You reckon somebody could be in the back?
He's been very quiet for at least 20 minutes, Sarge.
All right. You take the near side. Turn that noise off. That was silly, sir. What are you doing, sir?
Listening to music.
Why can't you do that in your own home?
There are animals and people.
And you don't like people.
Not when they bug you day and night. Are you going to arrest me?
Just a routine check, sir. Sergeant Beck to Hartley.
Hartley, go ahead.
Regarding our friend, no offences disclosed. He's left. Out.
What the bloody hell is happening?
What's wrong?
Mr. Ramsey. Now, look, I've been in here once and I've still been accused of things I don't know about. I complain and I'm given bits of paper.
I can shout just as loud as you. In
Will
fact,
you
louder.
listen?
Until you moderate your voice, I am not going to know.
Oh, that's it. What's more important? The facts or me shouting? Harassment? Being accused of things I don't know about? Stared at? And now I can't even sit in a van miles from nowhere without some stupid copper spying on me.
Mr. Ramsey, if you have a complaint, make it. And when you do, I can assure you it will go to headquarters and be dealt with by a senior officer not of this division.
Oh, what's the use? You're just as bad as him. You're all a bloody same. I'll get better out of using my MP. Anybody.
Mr. Ramsey, you...
And that's where I'm going.
In my day, unless the law books have been changed, that little episode would have constituted violence and unruly conduct in a police station.
He was letting off steam. Said, I know this man's problem,
Really?
and I'll deal with it.
Inspector, has he been under observation?
With respect, Mr. Hallam, this is best discussed in my office.
The point is, Mrs. Darby, if you have authorized observations on that man and his complaint is harassment, you'll be one of the officers complained against.
As yet, there is no complaint. On the first occasion when Sergeant Parrish dealt with Mr. Ramsey at the counter, he wasn't insistent on complaining.
Are you 100% in control of what goes on in this station, Mrs. Darby?
Are you saying my judgment's at fault?
I'm asking myself whether I'm in full possession of the facts.
Exactly, sir. Mr. Ramsey is under observation because of a serious complaint against him by the mother of a young boy, though I have to admit she is unwilling to formalise her complaint.
Oh, this is CID work.
CID are up to their necks.
You run this shop, I believe. You tell them to make time. But no uniforms or half uniforms watching that man. Any further incident involving him, whether it's from a householder or the House of Commons, I want to be informed immediately. Oh, by the way, I'm running a little cocktail party on Friday for the inspectors from my stations. I'll be very pleased if you and your husband could attend. At the North Gate. 7 to 7:30.
Not too flash.
Fine.
You sure?
Well, I missed the football socks and the tin helped me.
I don't know why I bother. With him about, there's not much point in me holding my breath for Chief Inspector.
Oh, it's a terrible road. You only need one lorry to break down and you can't get through it all. And how's your way of life, Tom?
All right, Mr. Hallam. Why?
Well, what I meant was your job. Promotion.
You've only just started.
Well, let me give you a parallel. Donald Duck has more chance of becoming President of the United States quicker than I have of moving desks.
Neither of you get thrown by shift work. We're not seeing much of each other.
Our relationship is under constant discussion.
In my opinion, based on long observation, Tom, it is important. Shift work and family. And apart from children, who's the breadwinner? Imbalance in salaries. It can mean flare-ups.
Hello, Mark. Your mum and dad in?
No.
Can I come in?
What for?
Just talk.
They've only gone out for a quick half.
That's all right.
All right.
Look, we're friends, right? Okay, we're not friends. But let's get the facts straight. You came to me looking for an earner. I give you a job to do a month ago, and I'm still waiting.
I did it.
You did it wrong.
You refused to pay me.
I told you, I don't hand out for rubbish.
You could have used them.
Mark, I don't half look after my animals, or my tapes.
So don't expect others to half do things for me. You're never going to make a printer if those are your standards.
My mum says I'm not to go near your shop.
Why? Why? You haven't done them, have you? They haven't been changed.
Mama!
Leave off, will you?
That's very true. What's the latest from HQ on all the Sergeant and 4 body stations? They can't survive police expenditure cuts, surely.
Teddy, yes, there are talks. We shall have to see. The obvious logic is to centralise them at subdivisional level and send out bobbies if and when needed by car. But this is boring our social worker.
I think you've just pinpointed the problem, Mr. Howard.
Albert.
The last batch of criminal statistics proved one point. In some police areas, 70% of detected crime is committed by juveniles under the age of 14.
Your area of control, Tom.
Well, get those bobbies out of cars, get them involved with those juveniles.
I don't approve or disapprove of policemen as youth leaders, Tom. But those statistics point to other more important areas of duty.
The other 30%?
Well, I'm not accusing you of bias, Tom. I think you're subtly trying to elicit my views on footbeat policemen.
No, not really.
Remind me one day to give you facts and opinions of the failures of the social services.
Well, I believe you've been desk-bound for 8 years, Mr. Hallam. I'm merely suggesting it might be a good thing if you went out and had a hard look at what they get up to in the evening.
It was that Ramsey. My neighbour recognised him.
Is Ramsey's van outside?
No.
All right, Mrs. Stannard, we'll get somebody down the hospital. You say his dad's with him?
Yes. And if you want me to write it down this time, I will.
Yeah, well, just leave that to us. And, Mrs. Stannard, don't touch anything in the room.
I'll get round the shop.
George, don't forget CID should be handling this.
Well, there's nobody up there at the moment. They can catch up. I'm not waiting.
I'm going to ruin your party, man.
He didn't move. And I just ran. I didn't know where to go. I don't know anybody. Round your place, they said you were here. Suddenly, you're not asking any questions.
Steve?
Are you telling the truth?
I like kids.
So tell the police the truth. You've got to be very imaginative to keep lies going.
And I'm not.
I wouldn't want to see you hurt. Do you want me to come in with you? No. You spend too much time running away from people. And this time you ran to me. I'm flattered.
Can you drive that?
And do handstands on the roof.
Drive me there. Then take the van back and keep the keys. If I get banged up, ring head office about the animals.
I'll get me things.
Well, as your lot are still hunting, I think I'll get back to my guests.
Yes. Ah. He's just walked in, sir. Bring him straight through, Sergeant. Please sit down. You were Stephen Ramsey.
Yes.
Did you go to 69 Barden Lane tonight?
Yeah.
Who was in the house?
Mark Stannard.
He's now in hospital. Can you tell me how he came to have a badly cut head?
I went round there to try and find out why some handout leaflets Mark had promised to redo for me hadn't been done. When I asked his mother, she just screamed at me, but gave no reason. When I had a look, they still hadn't been done. But he tried to grab them back. They got spilled and he fell backwards and caught his head.
Why did you leave that boy lying in the hearth, injured?
I panicked. That's why I've come in now.
Are you aware, Mr. Ramsey, there's an allegation that on a previous occasion you indecently assaulted Mark Stannard?
When? That's a bloody lie! Why didn't you tell me this before? I mean, it's my reputation. I've got a right to know. That's what all this is about, right?
Sit down, Mr. Ramsey.
Oh, you never leave kids like me alone, do you? Orphans. I thought coming up here I'd get away from all that. Do this, do that. Look, Inspector, I've been around. I've been in and out of places with kids all my life. Here and there, I've seen things happen to kids like what you're suggesting. What do you think? When I've seen it, and that it happened to me, I touched the first kid I talked to since I come here. It's you're screwed up, mate, not me.
I am not, Mr. Ramsey, at this stage satisfied with your explanation. Sit down, please. I'm arresting you on suspicion of assaulting Mark Stannard and thereby occasioning him actual bodily harm.
What about the indecency? Any better slam that in as well?
That complaint will certainly be reinvestigated, yes. You're not obliged to say anything unless you wish to do so, but whatever you say will be taken down in writing and may be given in evidence. Sergeant Beck.
I want a solicitor.
Speak to the sergeant, he'll arrange it if you wish, but nobody's going to talk to you again tonight. Surely it will be better to wait and have someone fresh in the morning. Take Mr. Ramsey into the detention room. I've arrested him for suspected ABH.
What do you think you're doing? Where's the statement of complaint about the assault tonight? You should have bailed him.
Sir, if he goes out of here tonight, he could assault again, be got at for revenge by the boy's father, or just plain disappear. Plus the fact that I don't accept the fact that he ran away from the scene because he panicked.
It's morally wrong for him to run, agree, but not necessarily so in law. If he didn't commit the crime.
He stays here for his own good until I know what's happened. You've already told me this is my station. I arrested the man.
Are you prepared to take full responsibility for any complaint arising?
Will you take responsibility for lack of police action if that man hurts himself or others as a result of us releasing him? Did you say he got punched? You haven't got any bruising. You haven't been touched, have you?
I told you, I never recognised Ramsey
Mark,
even...
Mrs. Stannard, you weren't here. It came about these leaflets, didn't he? Did he hit you at all?
No.
How did he get in? The door's not forced. Your mother said you went to see him again, but you let him in. Because you like him?
How can he? When he goes down there, he's touched. I saw him upset, weren't ya?
Were you upset, Mark, because you were assaulted 3 weeks ago? Or because Mr. Ramsay wouldn't pay you? Being a mite spoiled, you hadn't altered them, had you? Out of spite? They just hung around the house.
I were always telling him to take them down. They were cluttering up place.
When was the last occasion you asked him to take these leaflets to the shop, Mrs. Stannard?
A couple of days ago.
And you couldn't, could you? Because you hadn't altered them, you were still angry at not being paid. And so you made up a lie. And your mother believed you. Mark, unless you tell me the truth, a man is going to be locked up. Your friend.
He won't pay me. One time he's all friends, another he won't pay me. We're only a tiny fault. Only a lowercase r. I only wanted me for a printer. I'll do them again if he wants.
I make no apologies for having locked you up. Any man who can run away from an accident of that nature makes me shiver, Mr. Ramsay.
Do you know what, Inspector? You lot, everybody, assuming things about me, that makes me shiver.
What happened? I've got school. Where are you going?
Out of here. Coming?
Next on Drama, we catch up with London's finest police. The good folk of Sun Hill are on the beat. In the Bill.